front door kick, which is basically a straight line push with my foot. Today we're going to be looking at knees. So thinking in straight lines to begin with, the first knee we're going to look at is our straight knee. So, ideally, first of all, note how Darryl's holding the pads. He's reinforcing himself because he doesn't want to feel this anywhere except in these pads. At its most basic, grabbing Darryl behind the head, I'm pulling him down, pulling the targets, the chest, the sternum, the groin, depending on what way he's standing, what way you're configured. I'm lifting my knee, and as I lift my knee, I'm going to thrust my hips forward. And breathe out. That is the most basic part, that's the most basic explanation of the knee I can give at the moment. So one more time, we're going to grab him behind the head, don't interlace your fingers, keep your hands separate. I'm going to pull him down. After we pull him down, from my back leg, I'm going to lift it towards him, and at the top of the lift, I'm going to thrust my hips forward. You may lean slightly back, try not to over-exaggerate it. What I don't want to happen is, as I come up and lean back, I fall over. Or Darryl might push me. It's the same, but we'll deal with that later. So for now, for our partner, you just get used to holding, pulling down, lifting the knee, and thrusting your hips. Alright, go. Yep, same again. So, one thing I just want to point out. Every step of this is important. It's easy to get fixated on my knee lifting and hitting the pads. First thing you have to get right is the initial pull. When I move Darryl, I'm not just holding onto Darryl's head and pulling myself up to meet him, because there's very little in that, and also I haven't really diminished Darryl's stance. He's still really stable. I don't want him stable. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move Darryl. I'm going to pull him down, I'm going to pull him towards me. Just get him moving. You want to bring all these targets up here, down lower to meet your knee, because that means when you hit it, you'll have more room to travel up through them. So the difference between and this. So, easiest way to think of it from there, what I like to do is once your hands are across his neck, think about pulling your elbows down past your ribs. Get used to that. Watch out he doesn't headbutt you in the sternum. Be aware of it. Be aware that when you're pulling him onto you, he is moving forwards. So again, hands behind the neck, drop your elbows down by your sides, and as you do that, get used to that. As that pulls down, the knee is pushing forward. One more time. We want the hands behind the head. Now, it varies where you can put it on the head. Some people like it up high, some people prefer it down low. It depends on how strong you are and how good you are at moving the body. What I want you guys to think of when we're practicing these is make sure that you get Darryl to move, or whoever you're pulling to move first. So if you have to over-exaggerate with the big back step to pull them down before reinserting yourself back into that space, that's fine for the moment. Again, we will be looking to shorten those spaces down into something smaller and sharper because it gives him that space to do something about it. Okay, moving on, we're going to take a look at a slightly different knee. So we've looked at forward, much like the front push kick, which if you were here the other day, much like any of these kind of kicks. Now we're going to look at round. If you remember, we looked at this kick before, this kind of hooking kick. You can do kind of the same thing with knees. Same position as before, I'm going to hold Darryl in a clinch, whichever way you want. Darryl, look at where Darryl's holding the pad. He's turning his hand out and protecting his thigh because Darryl knows what's coming. This time, instead of going straight through, what I'm going to do is take my back leg, lift the knee up, I'm going to roll it over into it. Again, I'm going to lift it up, I'm going to roll it over, and I'm hitting him with the side point of my knee. So as this comes up, it comes over. Again, and I breathe out. Again, up, down and over. Rolling the knee over. Be careful with this one that you don't hit them anywhere where they're not padded because it can be unpleasant. If Darryl doesn't have the pads there, the kind of targets you're aiming for are the thigh, ribs. Depending how flexible you are, you can go higher. Leave that for tonight. Aim for about his thigh level tonight. So as this comes up, I'm dropping that knee over and down. If you want to feel what it's like, ask your partner to deliver it very, very slowly. You will not take very many of these, even from someone as inexperienced as me. So, grab a partner, get good easily.
Okay, so in previous weeks we've done simple things like back break faults. When I say simple, I don't mean the version that you see everyone flying through the air doing or anything else. I mean literally, we have started from about here, sometimes even here, and we drop back. Okay? As we drop back, we slap. Just get used to it. Then we went a little higher, and we came to about here. And we went much higher, and we came to about here. Okay? And we did side break fall. We started very small, probably started around here, fell to one side, and we fell to the other. We held our feet, we did loads of different things. Then we started a little higher, and we put a leg out, and we fell over the leg, like so, yes? Then, we banana it, okay? So to do a side break fall from the height, we bend our support leg, we let this out, and we lower ourselves to the ground, like so, okay? So this is what we've done in the previous weeks. There are videos of some of these. Oh, sorry, there are videos of all of these, one just hasn't been posted yet. So tonight, we've done back and we've done side, we're gonna do front. Front. If I'm doing a front break fall, it's obviously because I'm falling forward, yeah? So when we're falling forward as we go, this is ideally the position we're gonna be in, okay? Head turned, as you can see, because I like my face, even if other people don't. Arms, we're using forearms here, right to the fingertips. So we're not doing this. For obvious reasons, you will damage your wrist taking all that weight on anything harder than this, and even then it's sore. Okay? When we hit the ground, from the back end, for those who can't see, you'll notice that I'm not hitting with my knees into the floor. Same reason as hitting the wrist on the floor. Okay? So we've got to spread from here. You good with this? So, everyone do that. Okay. Right. Everyone who's not been here for a while, do that. Alright. So we're going to start very simple from the ground up, okay? So we're going to kneel down. Everyone's going to pop down. You're literally going to take your hands here and go, oh my god, I've been pushed from behind. And you're going to fall forward. Like so. Now, first thing that I did that you shouldn't do is look straight at the floor. Turn your head. And all I want you doing, I don't want you lunging. That's just going to turn out badly for now. You're just going to allow yourself, as if you've been gently pushed forward, as if you're kind of swaying forward, allow yourself to go down. Like so. Okay? That's it for now. Everyone get used to that, and you'll be fine. Okay? We'll monitor any aches and pains and so on, but they can't be any worse than the aches and pains you'd have if you couldn't do this. Alright? Okay, we go with that? Let's go. What you do at the very, very base level down here is going to impact on what you do when you start doing it higher. So any little mistakes you have built in down here, and we all have mistakes, I might point that out. This one works most of the time for me, but there have been occasions where I have kissed the floor. Alright? Gently kissed the floor. Sometimes. But the main thing is, anything we do, that's why we take it back down to this base level. Literally from the ground up. Because then when you're doing it at 6 foot in the air, or whatever the height may be, depending on who's throwing you, you're going to see every mistake coming out of there. Okay? And then realistically, if you trip and fall on your face, you want it to be more of an impact or an instinct to do something that's not this, because that's going to damage you even more, even if it's just you falling on your own steam. Okay? So, next time. Take it a little higher. So we'll take it from a crouch. Now, like I was saying, if you notice, most of my distance that I made up at the very start, without that slight little kind of lunge forward or lean forward, okay, it's pretty much in the same space. Alright, so I don't kind of go forward about 10 feet that way to fall. That's actually adding more force to the fall, which is not good. Okay? What I'm actually doing is nearly falling in place. So this one done actually looks pretty much in place. So I take the line here. My center of gravity is pretty much over the line, or as close to it as possible. Bearing in mind I still have a few pregnancy pounds on me. Okay? And when we let this out, this drops and my legs go back. So what you'll see is I pretty much land with my center of gravity, stomach in the same spot. Okay? So we're not looking to go, because as you see, that just looks really messy, and to be honest, I felt that there and everywhere else. So these bad examples are for your benefit, not for mine, okay? So when we do this, the legs kick out behind, the arms go down as we have done already, okay? But I aim to pretty much stay in the same space. So from here, like so, okay? All good? Yes? Try it, if you want to. If you don't, stick to the ground. This one is scarier than most, funnily enough. Alright? Even though you can see where you're going on this one. Alright? Okay, try that. Off you go. Things like this, I mean, we do a lot of throwing, we do a lot of things. To be honest, the front one is the one that happens least. But for that reason, it's the one that you should probably practice a little bit more in some ways. Because then when it happens, you forget. And we all forget. We either put our hands down too quickly as a knee-jerk reaction, and then it becomes a pain in the ass, and hands, and everything else that comes with it. Okay? So you need to be careful of these things. We need to be just mindful that they happen. And to be honest, you can trip while drunk. We all know that as well. You know what I mean? Which is not a good thing either. So, unfortunately, we'd like to say we don't drink, but some of us do. It's the unfortunate case that we actually fall that damage ourselves more than being in a fight or being dropped on our face by someone else. Okay? So we need to be mindful of that as well. Okay, so that's those ones. That's the front right fall. I'm not going to put you through too much of that. There's a few minutes left of this section anyway, so that's cool. Okay, so what we want to do is, for those who weren't here then, do a little quick recap and give you time to maybe play with some of the other ones as well that we showed, okay? So like I was saying, if you're going to do back break faults, a great place to start from the ground up is about here. All you're looking to do is create this nice curve all the way back. Tuck your chin to your chest and start rolling. And literally, you want to feel as few corners or lumps and bumps as they would be known elsewhere in your roll, okay? So when you're rolling back, the last thing you kind of want to feel is that type of stuff. You want it all one smooth roll and keep it going, okay? Once you get comfortable with that, you can try it a little higher and just sit back. Same idea. Main thing is don't let your head slingshot back, chin to your chest. Okay? Once you get a little higher, start your hands about here. You're going to slap out about a 45-degree angle here, approximately. Alright? We say approximately a lot because we had a mathematician pull us up on saying 45 degrees exactly. Alright? So, just so everyone's in on the view. Okay, so this is where we're at with this one, alright? The other one then, as we said, starting from the side, you can sit yourself out, fall over to one side. Or fall over to one side. You don't really need the hand all the time for these ones. The main thing is that you want to keep your head up off the floor. You don't want to join into the floor. You just want to let yourself flop over. Okay? The hand then will help you decelerate. Okay? You want to go a little higher. We said you can do it from a crouch. Put your leg out here and fall over the other side of the leg. Okay? And that's essentially it. Yeah? If you want to go from the real height, to do. You're going to imagine the best way we can think about it is someone is either got a rope attached to your left foot or your right foot, which side you're falling on, and you're basically going to let it scoop out. Okay? Now, if I do it and we fall like a tree, this is really horrible if you fall wrong. Okay? So when you let yourself go, you basically want to keep this and keep the support leg down. So you've got a nice kind of drop down low and control. Okay? This one becomes useful a lot of the time actually with a lot of the kind of rounded throws or anything else that you see in some martial arts. That's the one that you'll probably pull side break fall out. Okay? But again, just in case you fall. Try those for a couple of minutes and see how you go. Alright? Okay, go through things. Last week, a couple of things I noted were people actually took to the wall. And then they went. Taking the wall and dropping is good if you're using it as a way out, not if you're using it as a, I'll be safe here, because once you commit yourself to, I'll be safe here, it's probably where you're not going to be safe anymore. Got it? You've given up at that stage. So, all we're going to do, very simple, no major hit, bang, smack, whatever, all that type of thing. Tommy is going to pin me to the wall in any way possible. It's not forceful, it's just hit, okay? So, things to note about the wall, okay? I am against the wall, Tommy is not against the wall. What is holding Tommy up is me. Yes? Okay. So, I could try push Tommy away, and because I'm a little bit strong, I might be able to, but someone smaller might not. However, there are other ways we can go. If I'm holding Tommy up, I simply cease to hold Tommy up. Yeah? Now there are ways and means of doing this, let's be honest. But if I turn sideways, I'm not supporting Tommy anymore. Tommy is actually heading towards that wall, like so. Okay? Now this is simplistic, but what we're looking for is the emptiness here. Okay? So he might pin me a different way. This is a good pin. This is like two hands to the wall. Now if we're in an aggressive mindset, this is also somewhere else we'll go, but that's not the game for now. So bear in mind, we are leaving out all of the opportunity here to strike, slap, stick things in people's eyes and everything else. What we're looking for is the idea of, hey dude, relax. This is not weak, so I can't go that way. This might be, so I can go this way. Okay? What we're looking to find is the emptiness. This could be literally, I drop, and I turn, and Tommy moves. So I am looking for all possible options where I can drop, not going to work, go up, go down, go side, go back, go front, whatever. I can take a deep breath, and I can make space. I change my shape to give me space to move to the wall. That's what we're looking for. Everyone see the game? Everyone get the idea? We're going to try this with several partners. Thank you. We're going to try this with several partners, okay? Not just the one person. You can try it with varying levels of success in terms of power, strength, but realistically I can just put pressure on you and hold you there. That's all we're looking for now. I'm looking for the way out, okay? Other ways to pin, I'm not going to tell you very many of them, but this could be one too. This now creates its own difference in how we just did that. This is a single point of contact, maybe with a few extras in the middle here. But the main thing is I have one arm on Tommy. Could be doing something else, frisking him, other things and so on. But the idea here is Tommy has an option on one side, so it's weak in one way. And that's what we're looking to experience and see, okay? So I want you to play with as many different variations as you can think of. Don't even think, how will I grab this person? Just walk up, put hands on them. Okay? Put hands on them. All this type of thing. Alright? And play with this. And we'll change and change and change. Are we good with that? Don't use any excessive force. Don't use any pushing where possible. You don't need to. Look for the weaknesses. Look for the gaps. That's the important part here. Anything extra is inefficient movement, and we're not in that game because that's a waste. That's wasting energy you can use for something better, like running away. Okay? Alright, off you go. You're not going to start crossing my arms. That's very technical. What you're actually probably going to do is smack him in the face at this point. Okay? Let's be clear about that. That's the difference, again, as we say, about martial arts and about self-defense. This is martial arts because this is awesome and this looks great. I can do all this great stuff here. But realistically, he's got two hands on me. This is probably where I'm going next. And then I start fighting, and put him where he needs to be. Okay? So this is the type of aggression you're trying to put forward, which is the aggression coming at you. All good? Yeah? Sweet. So what we're looking at here is look for the emptiness, look for the gaps. Okay? If there's somewhere that feels like there's a little less pressure, that's where you want to go. Okay? If you can clear space for a second, that's going to give you time to move and play different games and so on. Okay? The main thing is to get the fuck away from it. Alright? Through the least amount of effort possible. Alright? Like we said, there's other things. Like we said, there's other things happening here. If he's playing, you'll notice that we play very rough together. Because we're used to this aspect of it, right? But nobody's expecting you to do that as yet. We're expecting you to develop to that. Alright? The main thing here is if we're playing nice and light, and this is on light, okay? All I'm feeling is two hands of pressure and so on. I'm not feeling any stress, I'm not feeling any aggression directed at me and so on. So that's an element that's missing from this, if we're playing it this way. Because now all I'm thinking is, well, all I'm looking for is the perfect way out of this, which is great. And my brain is functioning and my brain is clearly thinking. The second, okay, slam me. The second that happens, you notice the moment where I went, yeah, that ain't good, that's a freeze. But that happens to everyone, okay? And you have an action to move back off that. So if my action to move back off that is too late, I'm in trouble. But what I'm thinking is, shit, I'm under pressure. Bump, move, 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 go. You got it? This is where we're playing the one step as well at the same time. You'll see that he bumped me, my action was this, the next thing was a knee, there's my next action. You got it? And we're playing for this superiority and who can win and who can be more aggressive. But realistically, you need to be already thinking, screw that, and then somewhere else. Yeah? So what we're playing here is very, very neutral, very calm, looking for options, looking for everything else. So please bear in mind that there is a slightly more aggressive fashion to this, and that's where you're actually going to start seeing whether you can do this under pressure or not. You try it, but make sure you talk to your partners about it. Okay? Cool. All good? A bit more of the arm sweeping and things like that now. Then you can just kind of look to reduce that, because as you see, the second you put a bit of pressure in, there's a freeze moment. You don't want that freeze happening. Okay? We'll cover that a little bit more as we go along. We'll try building into drills, but at the moment, there's certain drills that, not that they're too deadly and too dangerous to do, but the thing is, it takes you a bit of time to get used to how we think, how we move, and in general, how everyone thinks and moves, or you're thinking that way, violently and so on, yeah? So a lot of what we're going to cover is, like, we'll build up to that as we go, and then we'll start putting the extra layers of, now we put more pressure on, now we do this. It's just if I grab you by the throat on your first night, the chances are you'll panic and never come back to me again, or you'll punch me in the face, which we want you to stay in that case. Alright? But the main thing is that it's a gradual thing. We're not violent people, so we're looking to kind of replicate it and kind of simulate it in the same way. All right? Okay. Things to note. If Kieran has a hand on my shoulder or my arm, okay, this, as we already know, is quite useful. This could just be a drop and a push, doesn't really matter. We're not playing with a wall right now, obviously, so that changes a bit. If Kieran grabs or puts his hands out here, things that can help, the shoulders up, drop. So if I'm playing here, up and drop. Put his hands on, now I have to play a different game. Drop, drop, drop. We're moving, we're going, we're going. So the main thing is, what you're looking to do is move your body. It's not just you going, aha, I can now magically do, wait, what's going on? Yeah? So the main thing is your body is moving. So if I move, everything is moving. Hands up, drop, pull, move. These are some of the other drills we covered a couple of weeks back when we were playing with the jackets and so on. So we were grabbing, we were pulling each other around a little bit, seeing we move what way and who can move different ways. We'll come back to these and we'll build on these as we go. But the main thing is, don't just think, by moving this is perfect, because in the perfect drill that we've just set right there, there are conceits. You need to be aware of those conceits because it's those that'll get you killed. Okay? Or hurt. Maybe not killed, but hurt. Alright. When we're playing this, you'll see last week we were playing this kind of game back and forth on the same line. Back and forth on the same line, coming forward, coming back, and so on. Okay? That's all well and good within a certain context of a game, a fencing bout, or even a sparring match in a kickboxing tournament or a karate tournament, depending on which rules you're playing by. But the world works in many, many dimensions, not just in one line, okay, or one direction, alright? So when we move, thankfully, this is better music. This punch comes in, he's looking to punch me in the face, okay? If he's looking to punch me in the face, he's intending to do something, alright? Push, punch, whatever, it works. The main thing is, offline. Now, this is what's known as a drop step. This comes from very, very, very old boxing, okay? But what happens is, as he hits, you'll notice I'm nearly falling to the side. So it's not me being martially superior in every way and all awesome things. No, I'm actually falling. So when this happens, this is me falling offline. Falls offline, falls offline, falls offline. So we're always moving off to an angle. See it? Some people will call it a duck, some people will call it a weave, some people will call it different things. We're calling it the drop step for now, okay? So when we move, we're falling. Now, the way we're going to train this, nice and slow, this is coming up. Aim for this, do not miss. Go at this speed if you like, but do not miss. How are you going to do it? It is nearly counterintuitive unless you trained to kind of fall to one side and pop your next shot in or whatever else. How are we going to train it? Watch my left leg for a second. Okay? I'm forcing myself to fall. The one thing I'm not doing is going, that's going to turn out badly, yeah. But what I'm doing is, a good example that I've gotten, or being read about, the main thing is, what we're looking for is, when I pull, I snap my knee, my right leg to my knee in this case, my left knee, my left leg to my right knee in the other case. It's all very well and good going, I can do that, because the martial artist in me wants to stay on balance. Yeah? Realistically, staying on balance in this case is not good, particularly in this position. Alright? So when I go, I want to let my balance fall off. Nearly to the point where I feel out of control. And then very quickly I'll get in there. Remember, if it clips you by half an inch, it's only hitting you with half an inch. If it misses by an inch, it's missed by an inch. It's missed. It's gone. You got it? It's up to you to seize the opportunity from there. Okay? Everyone good with this? Go very, very slow. So the main thing is, foot to knee, fall off. Fall off. Fall off. Fall off. Fall off. And that's what you're looking for. Then, as we build up, obviously, things will happen where you'll start moving your body in, and you'll start firing shots, or you'll start moving different ways, looking for your opportunities. This is very much boxing, but the main thing that we're looking for is offlining. Move, get out of the way, and not in a line here. See, this isn't good. All right, good with that? Okay. Now, the main thing is, what we're training is, like, it's always up to me to be on balance. So when I move, you'll notice that my feet move. They move together, they move together. There's always this nice symmetry between the feet. Good target. When our posture moves. Now I'm telling myself, no, fall off balance. That's actually hard to do, particularly when you've trained it. Luckily, most of you haven't trained that, so you're okay. All right? But the main thing here is we're exaggerating this. We're exaggerating this to where I pull this in. It's not me, as I said, pulling this and maintaining balance. It's actually moving as if I'm going forward and falling. You know, what I'm training myself to do here is, as well, is, like I said, not trip and fall over. But I will regain ground very quickly. But you'll notice it's nearly like a stumble. So as this comes, it's nearly like a stumble here. Obviously I've got to do more. That's important too. Can't just rely on that, hope for the best. But for anyone who's seen some boxing, and I'm not a professional by any means, or an amateur for that matter, but when this happens, anyone who's seen that kind of slip step, from here with boxing, here, 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 same idea. That's the idea. So you'll see it in a more controlled fashion. What we're trying to do is exaggerate it so we get that feeling of falling, but what you're actually trying to do is just that step off. Step off. Okay? That's it. Everyone go with that so far? It's not technical. It's only technical if you really, really think about it too much. The main thing here is get the hell out of the way, and the easiest way to do that is by using your response, your natural response, which is, shit, I'm falling. Shift weight to one side and fix it. Okay? As opposed to, aha, I will balance and I will jump backwards. And take another punch in the face for that. Alright? So what we're looking to do is work off natural startle reflex, if you like, here. Where I trick my body into believing that I am now falling. Therefore I need to recover. So my head goes after it. And look at that in the way. Okay? Another thing about offlining is, it's a very human thing, where he's being aggressive, I'm being aggressive, we're both standing and we're giving it socks, and it's all this, and we're eye to eye and face to face, because everyone should fight a man face to face. Correct? Bullshit. Where's the best place to beat someone? From behind them, with a stick. Alright? The main thing about it is, well, okay. Yeah, exactly. When we're moving, this is an offlining step, but it's designed to get me behind him or off to the flank of him, okay? So it could get me out to one side here, where I have a better opportunity to strike ahead or strike something else or just leave. Or it will actually get me around the back. So as I hit, this might buy me a second to get around here and then start playing. But as you notice, he wants to turn. So it's not as easy to get to the back as you want, but it's better to be behind him. And that's why if you watch most of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or any of that type of thing, you'll see people taking what they call taking the back. So they'll be on top of someone, be kind of holding them, whatever else, because it's a harder position to get someone out of once they've grabbed onto you, okay? Likewise, this is probably a good position that you want to be in if you're in an aggressive situation, yeah? Not in front of all of these weapons, but actually behind them with your weapons in front of you and him between you and them. You got it? So that's what you're looking at here. So these are ways which we'll cover as we go along to get out, get behind. So the likes of the wall drill, we'll do the same thing. Get out, get behind. Drive him to the wall, smack him a few times, leave, run, do whatever, you know, this type of thing, okay? That's the game that we're building, that's what we're playing here. So you'll see that technical can also, again, impede what you're doing in reality, yeah? Okay, so one step is essentially, I take one shot at Jackie, one aggressive step, Jackie then has one counter, one move per person. We continue until a logical conclusion. Basically, I've either turned Jackie to jam, or Jackie is now covered in my blood. Okay? Maybe not that far. Alright, but the point is that we're looking to go until it essentially becomes too fanciful, where we're now suddenly locking each other up, dancing each other around the floor, she's flipping through the air and I look awesome. Or we're looking to the point where I've essentially got Jackie on the ground and I am now punching her in the face. And she can't do any more because she's unconscious or dead. Okay? Jackie can take the first strike or I can take the first strike. The main thing here is that we're being aggressive about it. Okay? So it's not a rehearsed thing, it's not anything at all. This actually could be me coming behind Jackie here, and there's my first move. Most people start with a punch, a strike, or a kick. Most people start from the front. There's nothing to stop me during a partner change if Jackie is overplaying with someone else to walk up and grab Jackie this way. That's my one. Jackie now has one. Okay? My next one, Jackie has another one. And you'll notice that she's thinking her way through this and she's trying to find the best option possible. I have another one. Jackie has another one. Does everyone see where break falls come into this, by the way? Alright, so Jackie has her other one here. I have mine, and so on and so forth. And we build this until we get to that logical conclusion. Yes? Are we good with that? Getting up is paramount. So if you're on the ground, escaping with your life is paramount. But don't always think scramble for the door, because if the other person has one and they're constantly on the attack, you're going to take it in the head every time. That means getting to the door is going to be a lot harder. Okay? We good with this?